let me ask you this, Scottie Pippen. When it comes time to close, who you want?
I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe Bryant. I want LeBron James. I want them all.
All right, fine. You gotta pick one, okay? Who you going with, Scottie? Who you going? This is what you're doing, because you know good and damn well you have no business mentioning your name in the same breath as Michael Jordan. I'm from dancing, and you talking about you gonna beat Michael Jordan?
Michael
How you gonna
Jordan.
do that?
How you gonna beat me?
You know what? It's good.
I gotta hear how you...
The conversation about the greatest of all time in basketball has always been heated. But when someone dares to put themselves on the same level as Michael Jordan, Stephen A. Smith calls it what it is: blasphemy. No matter how many statistics you pile up, no matter how many arguments you craft, there's a clear divide between Jordan and everyone else. In this breakdown, we're going to walk through exactly why Stephen A. reacts so strongly to those comparisons, using his own fiery words and analysis. With Scottie Pippen in the mix in a series of back-and-forth exchanges, the truth shines through. You could never put yourself in the same place as Jordan. The first exchange sets the stage with Scottie Pippen, admitting that while he still takes Jordan over LeBron, he leans on statistics to highlight LeBron's consistency. Stephen A., though, frames this as the heart of the problem. Stats do not equal greatness. Basketball isn't simply about filling up a box score. LeBron's numbers across the board are remarkable, but what separates Jordan is his dominance in the moments that mattered most. You can average a triple-double for a season and still not carry the psychological weight that Jordan imposed on opponents. Pippen tries to straddle the line by respecting Jordan while praising LeBron's statistical profile, but Stephen A. hones in on the blasphemy, using stats to even hint that someone could overshadow Jordan. Jordan didn't just produce numbers. He produced fear, aura, and an unbroken legacy of winning at the highest level. You could never reduce his greatness to stats, because it was something bigger, something untouchable. That's why Stephen A. blows up right from the start. The comparison misses the essence of what makes Jordan incomparable.
I'm gonna give you one last chance to stop being so blasphemous, Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Better, who are you going with?
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
But statistically, LeBron James is a better basketball player. And here's why. He fills the stats up across the board.
Then comes the explosion. Stephen A. zeroes in on players talking about how they could beat Jordan one-on-one. To him, that's the most ridiculous thing you could ever say, because it spits on the reality of who Jordan was. Jordan wasn't just another player to size yourself against. He was the ultimate bar, the standard setter, the man who broke wills. Talking about beating him one-on-one is blasphemy because it ignores everything Jordan represented. Stephen A. makes it clear there's a sacredness to Jordan's name, and even joking about taking him down is disrespectful to the game itself. Think about it. Jordan spent his entire career destroying defenders who dedicated their lives to stopping him. Hall of Famers couldn't do it, defensive specialists couldn't do it, double teams could do it. So how is anyone supposed to stand there today and claim they could take it? Stephen A. reacts with outrage, not because the claim is funny, but because it reveals a deeper disrespect. It treats Jordan as just another man, when in truth, he was the man who defined greatness.
Talk about the GOAT here, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, and you running your mouth talking about you gonna beat him one-on-one. Why would you say something so blasphemous?
Stephen A. escalates with his pick your poison commentary, mocking the idea that anyone could dance with Jordan and come out on top. The reason that line hits so hard is because Jordan wasn't a one-dimensional player. If you took away his drive, he'd kill you with the mid-range. If you played him tight, he'd blow past you. If you sagged off, he'd drain the jumper. He had an arsenal so complete that there was no way to scheme him out of a game. This is where the comparison game collapses. With LeBron, you can point to weaknesses, his free throw struggles, his need for certain systems, even times he disappeared in the clutch. With Jordan, there was nothing to point to. Every move he made was a threat, and every game he played carried the weight of inevitability. Stephen A.'s sarcasm, asking how you gonna beat me, isn't just banter. It's a way of showing the absurdity of the argument. Jordan was the nightmare matchup, the player who forced coaches into impossible choices and still dominated no matter what. That's why Stephen A. keeps hammering home. You could never, under any circumstances, put yourself on that level.
I'm from dancing, and you talking about you gonna beat Michael Jordan?
Michael
How you gonna
Jordan.
do that?
How you gonna beat me?
You know what? It's good.
I gotta hear how you...
At this point, Stephen A. delivers one of his most cutting points. You have no business even mentioning your name in the same breath as Michael Jordan. This is about more than basketball. It's about respect. Jordan's accomplishments stand so far above that attaching yourself to him feels cheap, even insulting. Stephen A. sees this as a line in the sand. There are legends, there are greats, and then there's Jordan. And once you cross into Jordan territory, you're in a sacred space that you haven't earned the right to step into. The frustration here isn't just that people make the comparisons, it's that they act as though they're entitled to them, as if greatness automatically grants you the right to stand next to Jordan. But Stephen A. pushes back. No, greatness isn't a blanket pass. Jordan redefined redefined what greatness is, and unless you've achieved the unachievable, you can't put yourself in his space. That's the heart of his explosion. He sees it as a violation of the respect Jordan earned through blood, sweat, and relentless dominance.
This is what you're doing, because you know good and damn well you have no business mentioning your name in the same breath as Michael Jordan.
When the conversation shifts to the question of who you want when it's time to close, the answer reveals everything. Scottie Pippen himself, Jordan's right-hand man, doesn't hesitate. He names Michael Jordan. Stephen A. amplifies the point, stressing that Jordan wasn't just another great scorer, wasn't just another highlight reel. He was the closer, the one who ended games, ended seasons, ended dynasties. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, and never once did the series slip away when he had a chance to seal it. That's why Pippen, who spent more time with Jordan on the court than anyone else, didn't even flinch. He didn't say LeBron, he didn't say Kobe, he didn't even hedge. He said Jordan. This is where the debate often exposes itself. When fans argue for LeBron, they talk about versatility, they talk about stats, they talk about longevity. But when it comes down to the closing moment, the shot, the possession, the must-win game, almost everybody defaults to Jordan. Why? Because Jordan embodied inevitability. He wasn't just taking the last shot, he was making it. He wasn't just defending the last possession, he was shutting it down. That aura wasn't imagined, it was lived year after year until every opponent and teammate alike knew that if the game was on the line, there was nobody else you'd rather have. Stephen A. seizes on this truth because it cuts through the noise. At the end of the day, greatness is measured in results, not hypotheticals. Jordan closed, he delivered, and no matter how much people love LeBron's all-around game, the trust factor still leans Jordan. That's why Pippen's words carry so much weight. He lived the moments, he saw the fear in defenders' eyes, and he knows when the world stops, when everything depends on one play, you don't gamble, you pick Jordan.
But let me ask you this, Scottie Pippen. When it comes time to close, who you want?
I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe Bryant. I want LeBron James. I want them all.
All right, fine. You gotta pick one, okay? Who you going with, Scottie? Who you going?
Scottie Pippen then pivots with a bold claim about LeBron's ability to average a triple-double if he chose to, while Jordan didn't have that option. On the surface, it sounds like a compliment to LeBron's versatility. But Stephen A. would push back hard here, because this argument misses the essence of greatness. A triple-double is a statistical milestone, but it doesn't always translate into dominance, fear, or winning at the highest level. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for entire seasons, and while it was historically impressive, it didn't redefine him as one of the greatest of all time. It showed endurance and activity, but it didn't guarantee championships. Jordan didn't average triple-doubles because he didn't need to. His focus was on winning games, series, and titles. He didn't hunt stats, he hunted victories. If you look deeper into his career, when he needed to rebound and distribute, he did it. There are games where Jordan put up triple-doubles, but he didn't chase them, because chasing them was irrelevant to his true mission. Jordan's singular obsession was killing off opponents, not padding numbers, and that's why he stands apart. This is where Stephen A.'s energy comes into play. He'd call it blasphemy to suggest Jordan lacked an option. Jordan had every option. He could score at will, rebound when necessary, and lock down defensively like few guards in history. What Pippen is really saying, perhaps without meaning to, is that LeBron built his legacy on numbers, while Jordan built his on dominance. The contrast is clear. LeBron's greatness often gets framed in statistics, in projections, in if he chose to. Jordan's greatness needs no qualifiers. It was lived. It was undeniable. That's why even the triple-double debate collapses under scrutiny, because nobody feared a triple-double, but everybody feared Michael Jordan.
You're talking about a kid who can easily average a triple-double if he chooses to. I don't think Michael Jordan had that option.
Finally, the conversation drifts into hypotheticals. What would Jordan do in today's NBA? Scottie Pippen doesn't hesitate. He says Jordan would kill. Stephen A. doubles down, reminding everyone that Jordan's dominance wasn't limited to his era. He'd adapt. He'd thrive. In fact, he'd probably be even more devastating in a league with looser defensive rules, no hand-checking, and more space to operate. The defenders who tried to contain him in the 80s and 90s were allowed to be physical in ways today's players can't. Yet Jordan still destroyed them. Put him in today's pace and space game with freedom of movement, and you'd unleash a scoring monster unlike anything the modern league has seen. This is where Stephen A. makes a crucial distinction. Yes, LeBron is a product of his era, and yes, he dominates within it, but Jordan is era-proof. His game translates across decades, across styles, across systems. He wasn't just skilled, he was obsessed. He wasn't just talented, he was ruthless. That mindset doesn't go out of style. In today's NBA, Jordan wouldn't just do well, he'd redefine the game all over again. He'd average more points, rack up more highlight reels, and still close out series with the same ruthless edge. And this is the final nail in the coffin for the comparison game, because if Jordan in his prime were dropped into this era, there wouldn't be debates about who's number one. It would be obvious. It would be Jordan, head and shoulders above the rest. And that's exactly why Stephen A. gets so animated whenever someone tries to mention themselves next to him. The comparison isn't just wrong, it's insulting. Jordan didn't need help to find his greatness. He didn't need excuses about eras or teammates. He simply dominated, and he would dominate again, no matter the time or place.
The way the game is played in this day and age, and the way y'all had to play back in the day. What would Michael Jordan have done in this era?
Oh, he would have killed. He would have killed. But a lot of guys would have killed in this era because it's a different game. Defensively, it's...
By the time the debate winds down, the theme is crystal clear. Michael Jordan is untouchable. You can admire LeBron. You can respect his achievements. You can even rank him number 2 without shame. But you can never, under any circumstances, put him or anyone else in the same place as Jordan. That's the line Stephen A. Smith draws, and he defends it with fire. Pippen's honesty helps reinforce it. Even as he praises LeBron, he knows Jordan's closing ability is unmatched. Even as he highlights LeBron's statistical profile, he knows Jordan's legacy is built on something more meaningful. And even as he imagines Jordan in today's game, he admits the obvious. Jordan would dominate just as he always did. Stephen A. calls it blasphemy because that's exactly what it is. Comparing anyone to Jordan isn't just inaccurate, it's disrespectful to the man who redefined basketball. Jordan wasn't another star in the sky. He was the sun. Everyone else rotated around him. And while fans can debate endlessly, while players can talk about averages and eras, the truth remains immovable. Michael Jordan stands alone. His legacy is sacred, and anyone who dares put themselves next to him only proves Stephen A.'s point. You could never be in the same place as Jordan.